Why are you married? Why are you in that marriage? Do you know your role in the marriage? Roles in marriages are so important, but most people that you talk to will have no idea what their role is in the marriage. Your wife, what is your role? Your husband, what is your role? In Genesis, we go back there, right? God gives Adam instruction. I'm talking about, hey, Adam, I want you to tend to this garden. I want you to name these animals. I want you to do all these things. You have access to me in the cool of the day. All of these things. Adam has a purpose and a role. It's there, okay? Here's where it gets real interesting. You see, the word in the Hebrew for Eden means pleasure. Pleasure. Yes, pleasure, right? Adam had his pleasure in what he did, who he was, and the God that he served. If you're in the dating market right now, you're thinking about getting married to a man, make sure that man has his pleasure in God, in his purpose, and in what he does and where he is. Make sure he has pleasure in that. If he doesn't, then he will find that pleasure in you. And when he finds his pleasure in you, he has then made you his God. That's a problem. But pay attention. Adam's role is defined, right? Adam is the head. Adam is the leader. Adam is the one in charge, right? All of these things are set in stone even before Eve gets into the picture at all, before Eve is even created. Adam has his role, so he knows it. Now Eve comes in. Eve is created to be Adam's helper, helpmeet. She is supposed to complement him in that way. Now let me ask you about your marriage, just real quick, and we'll get back to it. But let me ask you about your marriage. As a wife, are you leading your marriage? Are you dominating your marriage? Are you saying, I get to make the choices because I make more money than he does? In your marriage, let me ask you, sir, have you taken a more submissive role? Like it's whatever. Your wife asks you, hey, what are we eating today? Whatever you want to eat. I just throw my hands up. It's whatever. Don't lead. Don't do any of that. What is your role in the marriage? Understanding that is so crucial to a successful marriage. Let me show you how that's implied even more in Genesis. We'll stay in Genesis, right? So even at the fall, when Eve eats of this fruit, right? What happened when Eve eats of this fruit? Do you know what happens? Nothing happens, nothing at all, because Eve is not the head. She's not the leader. She isn't that. So nothing happens when she eats of the fruit. It's not until Adam also eats of the fruit that everything goes into chaos and crazy and all this thing. Watch how the roles reversed, okay? Adam, who's supposed to be the head, Eve, who's supposed to be submissive, that all changed, okay? Now Adam is listening to his wife, who has taken the leadership role, and she's doing the decision making, and she's leading the way. Roles were reversed. The enemy, the devil who tricked Eve into this, he was no longer the enemy in that role. They made him God in that role. What he said mattered. How he determined it mattered. He was the standard. So all the roles got reversed in a chaotic way. God comes through. Whose name is God calling? Of course, he's not calling Eve's name. Eve is not the head. Eve is not the leader. He says, Adam. And just like most men, Adam says, it's this woman that you gave me. That's the problem. Won't even take the leadership role there either, after he's failed. So again, we go back to our original question for the group. What is your role in the marriage? Now, people in our modern day they're gonna tell you that, look, if you're not the leader, if you're not the head, then you're not as important as a man. Wrong. Different roles, that's all they are. God has designed a man to be a head and a leader, and a wife to be supporter and nourisher. Which is more important? Neither. They need each other. As a leader, if you don't have anything to lead, then what is it? as a nourisher, as a helper. If you don't have anything to nourish or help, then what good is it? That's why they complement and need each other. It's not a matter of importance, it's a matter of design. We're just getting started in this group. Whew, getting hot in here. Certainly hot out here.